Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Pauper, and I am greedily playing a deck that I want to play for a tournament, getting my reps in live on camera. Nobody asked me to do this. The video will probably not perform great, but I got Paupergenesis coming up, and I would like to be prepared. This is a slightly updated version of Dimir Faeries, the deck from Barff on MTGO. The last time I played this deck, I felt the power. I understood what we were going for, and I also made several giant glaring errors. One was like, yeah, I just didn't actually know what Extracted Confession does. I both thought it was an instant and thought it killed the thing with the highest mana value, not the thing with the highest power. There was some stuff like that. There are also some newer decks I hadn't played against with the current construction, adjusting how to play this deck with a smaller number of ninjas than I'm used to. I'm used to like 6 or 7 ninjas in the deck. The previous build had 4. This one has Okiba Gang, a little extra juice on that. But this is a slow, patient deck that needs to get control of every situation and then start pulling ahead on cards somehow, whether it's Thorn of the Black Rose or Ninja of the Deep Hours. Your job is to stop what your opponent's doing, don't die, and then claw back. And I love that kind of magic. These are the type of decks I like to play in Pauper, even if they're not necessarily tier 1, though Barff's continued results, I think he's chopped another challenge and put up 3 different trophies with slightly differently tuned lists since last time I recorded this, which was just 2 weeks ago. Guy's crushing it out there. I'm going to continue doing my homework. I'm not locked for Paupergenesis yet, but if I can do this, I'm going to do this. Let's see how it feels this time. This is Dimir Faeries. I'm on the play in round 1. I'm going to keep my hand. Unfortunately, I have to lead on Bojuka Bog here, and that also doesn't cast the 2 Snuff Outs in my hand, but I'm not going to mulligan. Bog myself, scoreboard. Augur a Bolus. Hopefully it doesn't look at the bottom 3 cards of my deck. Escape Tunnel. I am extremely triggered seeing that card after all the time I spent playing Standard recently. I practiced for a regional championship, which qualified me for a Pro Tour. Then after that, I played a follow-up regional championship after that, and this card is in the landfall deck that is extremely stressful to play against. But hopefully that's not what my opponent's doing, because most of the cards in that deck are rare, and that would be cheating. Go forth. Search your library for a basic land. Hey, I don't recognize this deck, which might be a skill issue. And I know there are decks that play cards like this one that pull all the lands out of the deck to then do Balustrade Spy stuff. That deck probably wouldn't have a Escape Tunnel in it. And I'm going to stutter this. If there's some kind of green ramp deck, I don't know how good Spellstutter is going to be. And I don't have Counterspell up this turn, but I will have it up next turn. And drawing this swamp did give me access to 2 Snuff Outs. Oh, we're poison. Interesting. +2/+2. Okay, cool. Big fan. All right, I can snuff that out multiple times at will. When this becomes blocked, it gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Not a big fan of that. Do I want to just cast this down, save my Snuff Outs? I think I do. Let's just bonk this thing. That could have been a huge mistake if they suddenly fetch a swamp and this is a Golgari deck and I can't snuff out their next threat. Just going to hope that's not what's going on. All right, continued with the forest thing. Another escape tunnel. I guess knowing that they're infect makes sense now why they're playing this card. Blight Mamba. That one has regenerate. Oh, Snuff Out says can't be regenerated. That's lucky. It's from the era where that was a thing. Brainstorm. Brainstorm and Dispel. I can put back one of the islands, and I'm not casting another Brainstorm right now. I'll attack with Spellstutter. I'll leave back Augur, and we can get into a little fight next turn. I would like to start getting them to commit stuff to the board. Like, if I just kill every creature without any kind of exchange, then they get to keep all their pump spells. But if they go for Ascend here, and we end up in a fight, and it costs them 3 cards, and that lets me be a little more comfortable. Rancor. Yeah, unfortunately, killing this now is the correct time to do it, because the Rancor will come back at any later time. I expect we'll have a fight over Snakeskin Veil kind of thing. Dispel that. Okay, not bad. That was a 3 for 2, and it got rid of Rancor, which is a steady issue. Llanowar Augur, dope. I haven't seen a card like that in a long time. Oh, another Rancor. Uh, I don't actually want this card around. I'll counterspell that. I think Snuff Out costing 0. I guess I could have gotten a 2 for 1 there, but then I have to hold up counterspell versus not do that. And maybe Snuff Out was a better play. But opponent's got 1 card in hand. They draw up to 2. We both have 2 cards in hand. Mine are both good. I know I'm drawing an island next turn. Settle down with the Rancors. All right. I am going to pass Snuff Out, paying the iron price. And they've had enough. Okay. I am something of a removal deck. Extract a Confession is just more removal. Arms of Hadar, Extract a Confession. They're not a red deck. I mean, we did see Rancor for a null. We also saw Ichor Mirror. There might be some room for a null in here. I don't think the graveyard or the life gain matter, which means Mukotai Ambusher can come out. Suffocating Fumes looks pretty good. Every removal spell looks good. Every counter spell looks good. Okiba Gang, they are kind of a combo deck, and being able to turn the corner with my modest beats is something I like being able to do. I'm looking at one of my chunky top end things as shavable here. I don't think I'm going to have room for a null all in here. This is going to be a very light sideboard. And do I think Thorn of the Black Rose or Okiba Gang Shinobi is a better card? And it's probably Thorn of the Black Rose. I really love Okiba Gang Shinobi, though. Everything else in my deck is a counter spell, a removal spell, or digs for those things. Yeah, all right. I will keep this hand. I've got a Fairy Curve, and when I find my swamp, I'm safe for a very long time. Glistener Elf. All right. They're bringing the Ruckus. Fairy Seer. Contaminated Aquifer. Big game. I'm actually going to top these and pass. And depending on what happens this turn, I can either hold up Snuff Out or Spellstutter Sprite next turn. All right, I want to force an issue. This means I'm probably going to play the Swamp next turn. But let's see what you got. Flush something out here. Mutagenic Growth. That's fine. Another Elf. It's getting dangerous out here. I think it's pretty important to turn on Agony Warp. I'm going to take this turn to invest. I'm not going to Snuff Out if I don't have to. Like, if they don't pump one of these things up to 9 power, I'm not going to interact with it. Because I'd rather have Spellstutter Sprite to counter Snakeskin Veil after that. All right, and Biggin is +4. Okay, this is 6 poison. Okay, I'm at 6 poison. Now I have removal plus Spellstutter. Right, I'm going to Snuff Out now while they only have 1 mana. Okay, cool. And Spellstutter versus Agony Warp is actually kind of tough here. All right, I'm going to just Warp. And I'm doing it now because if a pump spell saves it, I don't want to also take that damage. All right, Vines of Vastwood. That was going to work anyway. And Biggin gets me. I could still brainstorm into a Snuff Out if there's an emergency. Okay, I'm just at 7 poison. We're cool. We're chilling. All right, Mamba. I'm less chill now. Another Spellstutter. Okay, I can double Spellstutter here. I'll play one as a blocker to trade with Glistener Elf, and then I can use the other to either make sure that trade works or counter a pump spell on the other one. Okay, block the Elf. Mamba keeps chugging here. Hickory Woodlot, 1 card left in hand. I'm at 8 poison. Oh, baby. Do you have anything you'd like to confess, Blight Mamba? Do you confess that Regenerate doesn't stop Sacrifice? Okay, I've got Spellstutter up, which doesn't counter probably most of their threats. They're already in for 2 Glistener Elves. Blight Mamba. I think I'm going to Brainstorm because Counterspell's a hit here. It's not a great Brainstorm if I miss. Oh, brutal. All right, that's fine. Put back Fairy Seer and Island in that order. I can play out my whole hand next turn. Fairy Seer, scry that island to the bottom, look for action. That's a chump, and then I can counter a 2 and a 3. All right, 2 islands to the bottom. Bottom. Regenerate actually looking good here. I could take this hit. Go to 9 poison. Yeah, I'm not going to block. If I could flush out a pump spell here, that would be pretty great. Like, that's what my hand is good against, but I'm not very good at blocking. And Biggin, Spellstutter, Vines of Vastwood, Spellstutter. Got him on the hook. All right. I am happy with this turn because that means my opponent is now hellbent versus whatever comes next, and I have 3 chumps ready. I don't think 9 poison is that much different than 8, unless they have some proliferate spell in their deck that I could have played around. All right. I will attack with my Spellstutters, leave back Fairy Seer to block. Wow, no attack? What was that? Thicker Claw Mirror. Counterspelling anything that can go wide on me. Oh, they didn't want to use a Hickory Woodlot charge? That's weird. What else are you saving your mana for? Oh my god. Alright. Hardcast Snuff out, and now we're trucking. I guess if they have to regenerate in combat, and then they add their second thing, then they don't have regenerate up on my turn for cast down. Okay, that was probably a good non-attack. They know what they're doing. I just had to reverse engineer their thought process. Okay, I've got a removal spell. Just gonna hope they don't have any haste or flash creatures. In haste I can handle. I guess it would have to be a haste or flash creature with protection. But the more cards they have in hand, the more likely that is to work. Fairy Seer, pre-combat. I know my options. Can I see a ninja maybe? There we go. A ninja and a Lorien. Top. That's the good shit. Attack with everybody. And then next turn, a ninja picks up a Spellstutter, which has to be a hard counter versus this deck. I can't imagine they have 5 drops. Escape Tunnel. Ooh, that is a card where being at 9 poison. Yeah, I guess leaving myself at 9 poison all those turns ago, actually, they did have a bunch of face-up reasons not to do that I saw in game 1. Loosey-goosey, baby. Loosey-goosey, never punished. All right, they're packing it up to that. All right, yeah, I did not play around Escape Tunnel. A card that I saw at least 3 copies of in game 1. But I did flush out 2 cards in a spot where I lose to Escape Tunnel anyway, I think. Yeah, I'm not trying to justify it. I'm just trying to think it out. Like, being at 9, if they top deck one of these, I just lose through any number of blockers. But if they draw this on a later turn, pop it, pump their thing, kills me from 8, but I counter the pump spells, and it costs them Escape Tunnel. Yeah, that might have been loose. Unpunished, though. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the play in round 2. I will keep this hand. And I have both Bojuka Bogs, which means I can develop one of them here and still be able to interact with the graveyard later. Is that better? Does that matter? Yeah, I have 2 mana black cards I wouldn't mind drawing, so I should play out one of these. The other considerations is like play out Island to get ahead of like if I draw Brainstorm and then want to cycle Lorien Revealed, or if I draw Counterspell. There are reasons to do this. Okay, this can get Swamp, but I think it's better to Lorien for an Aquifer. Yeah, we're against Red Beatdown, where I now have a bunch of lands and a Snuff Out in my hand. Not really what I want to be doing. And my opponent's on the Mono Goblin Guide start. I'll kill the actual Goblin Guide. Take 2 from the other ones. Oh god, Snuff Out. Last match, it was my best card. This match, it's tough. Suffocating Fumes can kill Percussionist and save a damage off of Lackey. Play it until the end of your next turn. Yep, no drawbacks there. Alright, Fumes to take 0 damage this turn, I hope. But Percussionist does flip a card. Flipped another Lackey. I'm at Hardcast Snuff Out now. Oh, jeez, deck. I get it. I play a lot of this card. I understand. And they're playing out land drops, which means they could sack the Lackey and do the Lackey thing in response to a removal spell. But I can't not kill these things. Can't just keep taking 2 every turn. Yeah, draw a card, make a treasure. It's still gone. Oh. Well, suddenly, some excitement. I'm going to play Foreboding Landscape and play Thorn with blue-black open. And this thing Thorn does stabilize, and this might be a situation that was the best draw I could draw. All right. So my opponent needs 2 haste creatures here, or a haste creature and a removal spell, or 2 removal spells and a haste creature. What do we need here? All right, well, dispel that. Bolt again in response. Okay. All right, please don't have another haste creature. I hate Magic the Gathering. All right. Yeah. All right, 2 removal spells and a haste creature. I'm technically not dead there, but I have no chance of taking the Monarch back, and my hand is that card. Snuff out. There's a lot of sideboard here, of course. And I'm boarding out most of the cards I drew that game, which is normally not a good sign. I saw Bushwhacker, and the number of annuls I want in varies based on how their deck actually looks, and I think I'm going to start with 1, and if they show me a reason to bring in more, I'll do that. I'll keep this. A little slow, a little clunky, but Hydroblast is great. Like Cycle Luring revealed for Hydroblast on turn 2, and I get to spend all my mana and develop. Opponent's on a mull to 6. Mountain Go. All right. Cycle Lorien. Get a basic. And if they're farting around, I'll play Seer. Yeah, if they want to Pyroblast Fairy Seers on turn 1, that's fine. I will have more exciting and important blue cards at some point. Oh, goodness. All right. They have a potentially unblockable 3-1 here. And I've got an Augur of Bolas. I guess I need this cast down, because they have played a non-red creature. Right, Ginger Brute is unblockable. I'm going to blast this axe. That is worth a lot of damage. Their aggression with the turn 1 Reb makes me think they might have more than one, but that's still a play I'm going to make. Okay. Well, a null hits almost every card they've played this game, so noted. Right, I'm just going to pass with removal plus counterspell available. Great Furnace. Ginger Brute attack. There's the unblockable. Cast it down. Okay. It's my turn. Fairy Seer. Arms of Hadar Island. I think I'm going to go top here. None of this is an engine, but all those cards are great. And my opponent does have 2/2 haste in their deck. I'm going to leave my 1/3 back. Experimental Synth. No. All right, I should have more annuls than this in. It's nice to have this one particularly right now, but I should have more in. Okay, they're just conceding to that. Nice. All right, let's find another annul. And I'm going to cut another spot removal spell. They're a Bushwhacker deck. Like, a lot of their stuff isn't worth 2 mana or is multiple creatures at once. The sweepers and the life gain are really what I'm about here. And Hydroblast killing almost all their threats. The split, Vindicate, Counterspell, 1 mana, split card. Pretty strong. Okay, I like my hand. I would like it a lot if my opponent didn't come out guns blazing. Tomb Raider. Is it better for me to kill this thing now, or to develop land so I can spend 2 mana next turn? I'm going to try to spend 2 mana next turn. Epicure. This buffs the Tomb Raider because it makes a blood. And a Lackey. All right, well, I'm going to kill the 2/2 immediately. And I'll leave options on my other Blue Blast. I don't want to play out this Campfire till I can gain life with it. Reckless Impulse. I'm going to counter that. If my opponent runs out of cards, that's a way Campfire can actually just beat them. Another good draw. All right, Campfire's in play. I can Blue Blast plus gain 2. Clockwork Percussionist. All right, I will continue to counter spells. It's really in this tight squeeze right now, where can I get Campfire going or not? And if they're attacking me for 3 a turn, then Campfire is not canceling them out. Okay, Counterspell plus Activate Campfire is available. Synth. Spellstutter's a little dangerous, but it's so good if it works. Because this loses to Lightning Bolt or Counterspell, they need a Red Blast. But if they Lightning Bolt Spellstutter, all right, I will accept that exchange and hope that they don't get a card out of this. I flipped another Lightning Bolt. It's like I got nothing at all. At least it's not permanent source of damage. Lorien revealed. I'm going to cycle Lorien. I would have liked to shuffle a Brainstorm with that, but my mana is just not developed enough to do everything I need to do this turn, if that's what I do. All right, gain 2 life. That's happening anyway. Okay. I think I'm going to end step Brainstorm. Just try to spend my mana, get some velocity. Ambusher's so good. At some point, it will be so good. That point is not current. All right, I'm going to put back Cast Down and Lorien. Then I'll draw the Lorien and cycle it. I still have not given up on these counter spells to do anything. My next land, I can play Ambusher and protect it with Counterspell. Okay, this turn, I'm not going to activate Campfire proactively because I might spend 4 mana elsewhere. Okay, they're just passing. Holding on to that Synthesizer too. Oh yeah. Do I want to wait until I have... Yeah, nothing's actually happening now, so I'm going to just sit behind the Campfire. If I can Arms of Vidar on a turn, I have Counterspell still up, or if I can get them to commit this Experimental Synthesizer before I Arms. It looks like they're playing around Arms, though, specifically. And now they are pushing damage, so I'm going to have to respond. Agony Warp. I do like that card. All right, I'll pass with Agony Warp available. Another Lackey. All right. In combat, Agony Warp. -3 a Lackey on the front, -3 on the back, a Percussionist. Because I want to break the Percussionist. I don't want them to have stuff in the bank post-Wrath. They flipped Ginger Brute. So now they have to play that into the Wrath, if they're going to play it at all. And that taps them out of 3 mana to draw a card off either of these lackeys, too. All right, let's see. Oh, wow, they're so committed to having 3 mana for lackey. Oh, he played until the end of next turn. Someday I'll know what Pauper cards do. Okay, Contaminated Aquifer. We are approaching the point where I can 4-drop plus Counterspell, which is what I'm looking for in life. Do I need to counter Ginger Brute? No, I don't. That's not what we're doing here. I gain 2 life. And it's time to Arms. I am armed and dangerous. They're going to draw a card off a lackey, and they've kept this Synthesizer in the bank. They did a pretty good job playing around this. And this is the moment where it turns. Do I get there or not? I still have 5 cards in hand. An insane rebate. Flipped Inventor's Axe. +2/+0. Do I care about this? No. +2/+0, not haste. All right. That resolves. This here I can activate Campfire. If I cycle Lorien, I can activate Campfire, play Ambusher, and play Counterspell. As much as I'd love to draw 3 cards, I think this is a better cover. Hold on. I have Spellstutter Sprite now. That changes how you use ninjas in life. Now I wish I had fought over this Inventor's Axe. Okay, I'm going to pass. My opponent saw me tap mana and then back it off, which is a little suspicious. All right, hell yeah. Rewarded. I've got 2 counterspells and a Campfire activation here. They do have 4 cards in hand, though. Okay, Moment of Truth. Counterspell Lightning Bolt. Red Blast. Counterspell Red Blast. Does the stack resolve? Can we get something here? Ginger Brute's back on the stack. Galvanic Blast. All right. That's a powerful card no longer in their hand, but also they did win the fight. Oh, Jesus. All right, I'll gain 2 life, but that might have been it. It's unblockable. Okay, I can play Ambusher and blow up an axe if they move it, and I can gain 2 life. Gain 2 life. Pass. Synth, settle down. All right. Well, I gotta counter that. If they move axe over, they can hit me for 5. Yep. And then I gotta clap back. Or I can't clap back, I have to block the 2/2. All right, gotta draw a removal spell or a blocker with haste, which I don't have a lot of. All right, I'm at 7. Not dead, literally not dead. Hey, there's no reason to flash out Spellstutter. They can just activate Brute, Brainstorm, show me the money. If they Red Blast this, I get to Spellstutter. All right, we've both drawn good cards the last 2 turns. All right, big money, big money, big money! Hydroblast, I'm not dead. Okay, can I afford... What can I do here? I can put back the 2 spells, Augur, pick up the blast, activate Campfire, I'm at 4. All right. Counterspell, Hydroblast, go back. Augur, grab the Hydroblast, gain 2 life, and I should probably blast an axe now. Because that plays around Counterspell as an option from them. Red Blast, I mean. Come on! Alright, alright. This was a pretty good battle where maybe I got a little too careful. That mid game where they were attacking me with a million things and I was using Campfire to tread water, I might have held out a little too long for a little too much value. Like maybe that was the difference, but also I wrathed them for 4 cards. Plague Winded 4 creatures of the graveyard, and they just untapped with 5 cards in hand and another onboard action. That was pretty dynamic. That was cool. I think the real problem for me was I didn't draw any cards that game. Like Augur of Bolas went +1 card at one point, but otherwise all my Lorians had to cycle. I didn't have a ninja going. I can't get the Monarch. I boarded those out. And maybe this third Lorien revealed should have been cast instead of cycled. I might have been being too careful at that point. Yeah, either too stingy on the Wrath or too careful on the Lorien. There were two big decisions or big like strategic options made that game. Cool stuff though. Crushed by Gingerbrute. I think I beat all the other cards in their deck, but that's the tech. On to the next round.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks. And groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the play for round 3. I will keep. This is one of those games where I basically want to draw land for the next 3 consecutive turns. A forest. Probably a good sign for Snuff Out. Suffocating Fumes looking nice here. Cycle Lorien revealed. And I don't have a spell anyway, so I might as well get an Aquifer. I'm not going to snuff this Llanowar Elf because I'm holding Suffocating Fumes. I'm just hoping I get a real blowout at some point. Page Loose Leaf. That's terrifying. Llanowar Elf, Page. Another Lorien. Cycle that. Grab Basic Island this time. Develop Augur. I get a Counterspell, Moon Circuit Hacker, and Fairy Seer to the bottom. Okay, this is an important turn to not be dead, I guess. Page Loose Leaf is really interesting. I know this is getting played in Cycle Storm, but I don't know what green deck has it. Another knowledge gap here. Cycling Generous Ent. Is this something the spy decks are doing? Is it just a mana dork that does some stuff? All right, Winding Way. We're about to see a bunch of cards. They got Llanowar Elves, Findhorn Elves, Timberwatch Elves. I hope they dump out both those mana dorks. Priest of Titania, let's go. Okay, so they have 2 dorks plus Timberwatch Elf in hand. I've drawn a tap land. I think I can get more out of this Priest of Titania. My plan right now is let them dump out their hand, snuff out the Timberwatch Elf, suffocate everything else. There's Timberwatch. Masked Vandal. That doesn't do anything. End step, snuff out the elf, the Timberwatch. They're all elves. And do I need to Fumes? This might be an aggressive Fumes, but this kills a lot of shit. And then my hand is a bunch of counterspells after that. Okay, they've had enough. Arms of Hadar coming in. I am referencing Barff's Patreon sideboard guide while I learn this deck. And he's got 2 Annuls coming in versus elves, which is strange to me because I'm looking at elves lists and I see literally 0 artifacts or enchantments. Oh, Nyxborn Hydra. Never mind. Nope. There's a huge one. All right. I assumed Barff was correct. I just wanted to see why. And that's what sideboard guides are really good for. They're not a map to the destination. They're a Rosetta Stone so you can understand the language and then find your own way. And yes, Nyxborn Hydra tucked within the creatures in the elves deck. And that card is very difficult to beat. So good job. I like my hand a little slow, and I don't have the giant sweeper this time, but I got lands, I've got removal, got some stuff. Opponent's on 6 without a 1-drop. I like that. I am not going to play that Fairy Seer. I'm going to develop my tap lane while I can. Generous Ent, getting basic forest as it does. Priest of Titania. And this is actually interesting. Normally, Priest is a kill on sight card, but it taps for 1. It's the same as Llanowar Elf at this moment. And if they play another elf, I could respond by killing Priest. And if they play something like Timberwatch, I'm actually more worried about that. And Counterspell Lead the Stampede. Like that sort of thing, stopping these reloads is fine. Yeah, Priest of Titania, left it in play, get attack for 1. The old 2 mana 1/1. Cycle Lorien for a land. And pass. Same wisdom this time. But I don't have a counterspell this time, unfortunately. Alright. Your Stampede has been led. Avenging Hunter and Llanowar Elves found. I can counter this. Avenging Hunter is a little bit stressful. Awesome old border treatment on Magic Online, though. Shout out to that. Ooh, Okiba Gang. A Fairy Seer. Now I can counter up to 3 drops. Snuff Out's great. I actually Brainstorm is awesome here. Alright, so I go top, Brainstorm. I have my land drop and Snuff Out as a 0 mana spell. So I just get everything here. Oh, even found a counterspell underneath all that. All right, Fairy Seer and Okiba Gang are going to the top, and I am attacking. That's what we do. I still don't think I'm particularly stressed about this Priest of Titania. I'd rather counter Lead the Stampede's Monstrous Emergence. Deals damage equal to the thing. Shows Priest of Titania. All right, so this is a choose. Okay. Yeah, that resolves. I don't care about Spellstutter Sprite being dead, specifically. Another Monstrous Emergence. This one I'll engage with. I do want to have enough stuff in play that they can't actually afford to play Avenging Hunter. All right, I'm going to blast their shit this turn. I'm going to Okiba Gang their hand and then Snuff Out. They have 1 card to play the game with and 3 mana. This looks like an okay place to go shields down. Discarded the Avenging Hunter. And I've got removal in my hand. I'll just take the Stone Rain. And if they don't cast spells now, they lose their hand. Yeah, okay. Man, I love Okiba Gang Shinobi. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is sponsored by Ultimate Guard. I travel all over the world playing Magic with very expensive cards. I trust Ultimate Guard products to protect the tools of my trade wherever I go. Whether you like magic art, licensed art from other worlds, entirely original art, or the simplicity of plain colors, their products have incredible range to match anyone's style. Protect your cards how I do, stay up to date with all the new releases at ultimateguard.com, and stop by the Ultimate Guard section of your local game store. I'm on the play in round 4, doing pretty good on die rolls this league. I'm just going to play Island here. Unlike all the other hands where Bojuka Bog was in them, I actually have the ability to play without that Bojuka Bog necessarily. I'm going to develop Augur. I don't think there's enough scary stuff in this format that Basic Forest represents that I need to hold up Counterspell into that when my deck is built on slowly accumulating resources and at some point ninjas will show up. Urza's mine. All right, we're Troning. Prophetic Prism. All right, Bojuka Bog, target me. Got him. And attack. I am going to try to get the Monarch very soon. And by very soon, I mean like now. What could go wrong here? I am going to tap out for the Thorn. If my opponent has natural Tron, that's not great. I can kill most things that Tron would cast this turn. And next turn, I have Counterspell up. So do you have Natty Tron? And do you have something that breaks the game open? Evoked Muldrifter is not it. Oh, and they missed a land drop, discarded 2 cards. That's not where you want to be. Discarding Weather the Storm and Rolling Thunder. Oh, Ambusher is kind of sweet. That leaves up Counterspell and just puts a bunch of damage on the board. Killing them fast is now phase 2 of my plan. I'm also missing land drops, though. So I'm going to go to my end step, and I'm going to discard a Cast Down, probably. I don't need all these augurs, and that doesn't give away information. Dispel is actually pretty important versus Tron, as they have all these different colors and weird stuff going on. I'm going to add Spellstutter for the damage. Right, they're going to, Weather the Storm here? Or did I open myself up to some... All right, Impulse is fine. I wasn't countering that anyway. Oh, crop rotation. I would have countered that. All right. They got me. I left that door wide open. And that is frequently the story of Pauper is you mess up, leave the door open, and your opponent punishes you really bad. Okay. I'm gonna augur, and I hope to hit Lorien revealed exactly here. Snuff out and suffocating fumes. I could cycle fumes. Yeah, I'll take fumes. And step draw a card. Juka Bog. I think I'm gonna discard, and discarding the fumes is almost the same as cycling it. I drew it and then I discarded it. Ah, they drew a power plant anyway. Nice crop rotation. Yeah, unfortunately, I have left my shields down and I can't attack this turn. I'm not going to just cast down Stonehorn Dignitary. Okay, there's the Lorien I was looking for last turn. Cycle that. Play Island. Now I have Counterspell and Cast Down available. No attacks allowed. I draw a card. Instead, Mystical Teachings. That can resolve. I'm holding Dispel. They're trying to get their engine online. Teachings for teachings. Yep, pretty nice. Okiba Gang. I like that a lot. Right, I'm going to discard Fairy Seer. I don't see that one being what I'm up to in the near future. This turn, they're going to try to flicker their Stonehorn Dignitary. Cycling Generous Ent. 5 cards in hand, and one of them's Teachings. Angled Islet tapped. Okay, they have not tried to do any Stonehorn stuff. I'm not going to start the fight either, because it's their job for me to go into combat to deal with it. Does Island add a counterspell to my repertoire here? I could bog now and see if they want to flashback teachings in response. Island gives me cast down, counterspell, dispel. Yeah, Island's better than bog here. Okay, attack, attack. Do I care about gaining life? No, I care about pushing damage. All right, I'm going to attack with these two. And I'm not going to Okiba, because that's not the fight we're fighting yet. That'll come in later. Okay, end a turn. If they tap out here, I will blast the Stonehorn Dignitary. Also, Marasa getting back Muldrifter. I'm going to cast down Dignitary in response and see what that looks like. Okay, Dignitary's dead. Pulse. Pulse resolves. It's weird because, like, being this patient, that feels really bad. But the Monarch has drawn so many more cards than Muldrifter has, and it's going to keep going. And the way I lose is I put the shields down in a way that my opponent completely buries me. And, like, them playing Muldrifter, a card that I can, cast down, is not the thing that breaks that. Energy Refractor, okay. Well, they're doing most of the things they're trying to do here. I'm now kind of wishing I had tapped differently so I could cast this down in the end step rather than on my own turn. All right, Ninja is nice. I'll attack with all 3 of these. Leave back Spellstutter. Hopefully they just trade with Ambusher. All right, they want to touch tips with Augur. I don't actually need more cards here, more than I need more mana. And right, I will cast down. I don't like moving first, but I do want Muldrifter in the graveyard where I can bog it away for future pulses. Okay, cool. The graveyard is clear, and that took a teachings with it. Right, it looks like it's big spell time. This is what we've been waiting for. Visionary's Dance. Make 2 3/3s with flying. I guess I'd rather you didn't. All right. Dispel the Prohibit. There's a good chance I don't win this fight. They've got a lot of mana and teachings available. Breath Weapon. That's dirty. Okay. I mean, that's not as bad as Visionary's Dance resolving. I actually don't even mind that at all. I still have creatures, and now I get to Okiba gang them. Got a lot of ninjas here, actually. Okay, opponent's at 9. 4 cards in hand. Okiba seems like the place to be. 1, 2, 3, 4. Leave up all the blue. Hit you for a bunch. Discard 2. Moment's Peace discarded. Okay. This game's going to keep going. Contaminated Aquifer in, and Counterspell is more important to me than activating Augur of Bolus. Muldrifter. Alright, I don't love this, but from 2 cards, I think this one is a Counterspell. Yeah, if they have to flashback teachings to protect Muldrifter, this is a game I can play. All right, so they tutor to prohibit. All right, that gets the Muldrifter in. Oh, Ephemerate with their last mana. Brutal. Okay, but this is why you play so careful, because they have all these messed up things that can turn the corner so fast. They're going to Moment's Peace in the upkeep. All right, so if I... Okay, they actually have to block if I counterspell this. Like, the threat of ninjas is too high. Oh, wow. If Augur hits a removal spell, if Augur hits a Snuff Out, I just win. So I'm gonna start there. Snuff Out, here we go. Pay 4 of my 29 lives, and then attack for exactly 5. Moon Circuit Hacker. Tight. Okay. Yeah, you just gotta keep the old B-hole clenched the entire time versus Tron, and don't let them through, because if they start flickering Muldrifters or block multiple combats with Stonehorde Dignitary or get their graveyard engine churning, you just lose. And things like they gain 6 and draw 2 cards are things you have to let resolve, even though those are powerful effects. Okay, bring in Graveyard Hate and efficient counterspells for the things they're going to have. Got some of the spot removal and the one of tech cards for various matchups that aren't this matchup can go. Some of the removal, I mean, removing their stuff does matter eventually, but not as much as it not resolving in the first place. Okay, I'll keep this. An early ninja with some ability to fight. A null would be an insane draw here. All right, it's not a null, and I'm going to save that Bajuka Bog until it's high impact. Cycling Ent. Got a Tangled Islet. Okay. This is a development turn. Oh no, yeah, they are developing that. It was a development turn, but not how I wanted. The third Spellstutter. I'm probably just going to play this card, no matter what they do this turn. Energy Refractor, cannot counter that. Right, there's the Tangled Islet, and I'm going to get a ninja going here. A little ninja, a little damage. Hit ya, draw a card. The other Bajuka Bog. They pass. Opponent knows I have Spellstutter. They do have to acknowledge this Moon Circuit Hacker at some point. They did not have Natural Tron. Thanks for that. Stonehorn Digs. All right, that resolves. And I am going to add Spellstutter to the board. Just make the other ones better. I'm going to snuff this out right now while I know it's going to work. And Augur. Lorien, Red Blast, or Blue Blast. And Lorien for another island lets me keep my... Yeah, all right. I'll Lorien here. And using one of the bogs this early, not exciting, but Stonehorde Dignitary is gone. I have Dispel up, but they do have a lot of mana of a lot of colors. If they're going for Ephemerate here, I do have the Dispel to punish it. Okay, didn't have it. They're Bajuka Bogging me. My Snuff Out is gone. And they have 1 mana right now. I think that's a clear window to cycle Lorien. They can't Breath Weapon from here. I'll just grab an island. Fairy Seer. Do I do that pre-combat? I don't think so. That might even be the card I loot away. Yes, loot. Discard a Fairy Seer. Even drew another one. And I think leaving up my interaction is the way here. Opponent's got 7 cards in hand. All right, they're activating Visionary's Dance. This is a look at your top 2, 1 in your hand, 1 in the graveyard. That's good news if that's the best thing they can do with 2 mana. Dumped an island. I will Spellstutter almost anything that I can. Pyroblast, Spellstutter, that also. I'm adding to the board while I run them out of options. That's what I need to be doing here. Counterspell, great find. Attack, likely to loot away Fairy Seer again. Loot. Yeah, Fairy Seer is not better than Brainstorm or Bajuka Bog. Okay, Fairy Seer to the graveyard. Pass with 2 counterspells up. I'm not playing this bog yet. Cycling Generous Ent, as they were 1 mana short of casting it. All right, tapping out for Muldrifter. I'm going to counterspell that. And I'll draw for my turn. I will Brainstorm now. Okiba Gang! There we go. I was looking for some way to increase my damage. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Dead. All right. Nice one. Steady damage. Don't let them do anything. Get it done. This is a matchup that will probably feel impossible if you don't know what you need to do big picture. And it's actually pretty easy if you do know what you need to do. You just have to execute your tactics correctly, but you need the correct strategy in order for that to happen. Because everything they do is scary, but not everything they do kills you. And you can overcome a lot of the smaller things they do. As long as they don't get those engine hooks in, you will win. On to the final round.
The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables. In this YouTube series, hosts Patrick Sullivan and Patrick Chapin go set by set through Magic's past, leveraging their decades of experience as Pro Tour players and game designers to analyze the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a deep dive into the facts, mechanics, cycles, trivia, decks of the time, and historical context of the set. The hosts dig into notable cards of the era and their lasting impact today. Each set gets an award show where the hosts pick their favorite cards for categories such as Best, Worst, and Weirdest. And finally, give a letter grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/theresleevables.
I'm on the play in the final round. I think that was 5 die rolls 1. I'll keep my hand. I need to find an engine, but I'm pretty good at fending off early plays from most of the decks in the format here. Opponent mulled to 6. Boldarin Epicure. Okay, a red deck in the chat. And me with a snuff out in my hand. Pass. Yeah, this one's going to be really annoying because I'm just going to take the damage for basically as long as they serve it up. I'm not spending 4 life on this, though it might end up doing 4 damage anyway. Opponent seems to be debating how they're going to spend 2 mana. These lands have tapped and untapped a number of times. I'm going to go End Step Brainstorm because right now, Dispel could counter anything they do. Okay, that Ninja's actually great. And I'm going to put back Bojuka Bog and Contaminated Aquifer. Maybe I should have done that the other way. If this is a snacker build, then my Bojuka Bog is a desirable card. But now I have to bottom it, where I would have been fine. All right, I'm going to go bottom here. I think maybe I should have kept the Bojuka Bog, though. All right, now I can counter 2 drops, which is great, because I've seen them tap and untap 2 mana a bunch of times. That card is annoying. I could just Spellstutter now. Cost them a mountain. All right. It's weird, but if we're in this weird little world where I don't want to keep taking damage from Boldarin Epicure, this play makes some sense. And this also now requires another spell and sacrificing a mountain to stop Moon Circuit Hacker from getting online next round. A second dart. Okay, well this still counters the first one because I have a fairy. Yeah, grab the prize, discarding Sneaky Snacker. Bojuka Bog wouldn't have helped there. A Lava Darting immediately. Okay. Lava Dart's a really good card. That also blanks my Moon Circuit Hacker. It does not blank that one. I guess I have to play Hacker, and I can dispel the dart and try to convert Hacker into Deep Hours next turn. That's a Flame Breather. That is a card worth snuffing out, though it is going to hurt. I'm going to snuff the Flame Breather now. That way I don't take 1 from a sorcery in the second main, and they have to think about the Lava Dart now. I'm doing this at some point, and doing it now feels fine. Okay, they did not dart me. They look prepared to block, but that's fine. I'm going to attack. Okay, there's a block and 2 cards in their hand. And I don't think this is getting better, even though I hate just ripping it off like this. Yeah, just had the bolt. All right. Okay, how hard can you punish this turn? Like tapping out of the counterspell while I'm just incidentally taking 2. On a clear board, I don't run out the ninja like that, but I can't just take 2 a bunch of times, holding up mana, hoping something's going to get better for me. Okay, they just plotted highway robbery rather than play it while I'm tapped out. That's probably good news. Now I can counter it. It's just bleeding out to this free object that appeared, though. Snacker. Powerful multi-deck engine in Pauper, the best red card in Modern Horizons 3. I really like Sneaky Snacker as an engine. I just wish it didn't have its best home in Burn, of all stupid things. All right, I'll counter this highway robbery. I'm not going to beat them if they have unlimited cards to play with. Blood token, set, discarded a land. Played a land. Come on, deck. Brainstorm, do something. I think we're going to know if I've won or lost this game right now. Fire Blast, got him. All right. That Dispel, that's about as good as that Dispel could ever possibly be. Thorn and Stutter. All right, well, I'll put back Island Thorn. I have to block with Spellstutter this turn, but they have Dart. Like, that's not even actually a solution. All right, I think I've lost. If they let me block here, it might be okay. Depends on if they value that mountain more than getting me to 3. Okay, I've been allowed to block. Okay, please don't have... Okay, that one I can play through. I drop Thorn. I draw Island. I have a 1/3 Death Touch. My opponent has Lava Dart in their graveyard, so I'm functionally at 3 here. But I'm not dead on board anymore. All right. That's so disrespectful. Bolting my creature instead of my face when you literally have lethal. All right. You got me. Huge pile of sideboard cards coming in here. Clunky stuff out, good stuff in, life gain in. Let's do it. I will keep this hand. Tap land hell, but I'm in. And like we saw last game, those lava darts, they add up, they cause problems. A random Bajuka Bog, even if it doesn't clip a snacker, still probably pretty good. Okay, well, Lorien is cycling for Island, and I think this turn I hold up Hydroblast to fight over one of the draw twos. And then next turn I can play Campfire or hold up Spellstutter. I've got options depending on if I draw an untapped land or not. Sig Flame Breather. I will counter target spell if it's red. Foreboding Landscape. Okay, so I can play Campfire with this and leave up Spellstutter or Dispel. It's a nice find. Okay, Chip Shot with the Epicure. Activating a blood token. Snacker. That's 2 draws this turn. All right, please don't have another one. Oh, that's annoying. I guess I counter it. But if this holds, like if that snacker stays in the graveyard and I can bog it, we're in great shape. And if they spend mana to kill Spellstutter Sprite, then that's mana they don't have to blood. And I still end up where I want to be on that exchange. Okay. You get your Epicure, but it costs you Lightning Bolt and it's going to cost you Snacker. Hell yeah. Cook that graveyard. Pass the turn. All right, that was a pretty good turn. I still got work to do, but that was a good turn. Attacking for 2. The end step, Campfire. And I can fetch an island here. Anything they could do right now is susceptible to Dispel. Dispel that. Ooh, they got me with the double. All right, yeah, if I had not Campfired, I would still have Campfire. But I don't know that they would have played that, and then they would have had access to all that still. Your Relic. Bonk your bin. I think I want to hold this Lorien. This is my next land draw. Drawing 3 is how I can pull ahead here. And that's what happened in the last red match. I just couldn't pull ahead. And our cards were right down to the wire on the last turn. Okay, another land. Next turn, Lorien looks pretty good. Obviously, Red Blast is a frustrating card. Power level outlier. Fiery Temper. That's a 3-drop, even though they're about to spend 1 mana on it. Yep, I'm at 11. It takes some damage here. Gutter Snipe, holy moly. I guess I'll draw a card off Relic. That didn't work. Okay. I think Spellstutter Sprite is better off in play as a blocker, potentially. Counterspell. I mean, it's so likely I just die this turn and Counterspell doesn't save me. All right, yeah. Heckin' Gutter Snipe, man. That is not a card that I can reasonably beat. Not from this spot. Flame Breather, too. What if they have no spells in hand? Just play the Lava Dart. I'm dead. Searing Blaze, brutal. All right, GG's. Okay, positive record. I got run over by the red aggro decks and beat everyone else. That is certainly techable. In bringing in 10 or 11 cards and still coming up short doesn't feel great, but I'll review how Barff approaches those matchups. Maybe I'm not being aggressive enough about like trade off Spellstutter Sprite with that Voltaire and Epicure early. Just make sure your life total is strong. Also, just like, Augur of Bolas is a 4 of in this deck that I didn't see during any of those matchups where I was taking chip shots from random 1-power creatures. Augur is just the moat. Augur's worth a million life in those matchups if you just have it early, and that wasn't the part of the deck I drew. You could just play fewer Snuff Out and more stuff that's good in the other place, because having 4 Snuff Out is great versus like Elves and Infect if you queue into Infect, but this is a card you board all of your copies out versus the red decks, which there are a lot of. And that could just be a different card. All of this is tunable. Your second cast down could be another Suffocating Fumes, or Okiba Gang Shinobi could be another Mukatai Ambusher. All of this is tunable, but it feels good. This league felt better than the last one. I feel like I knew what most of my cards did, and I mostly played well. And now it's just about locking in how to read the specific position. Like that first red matchup that we played against, the Rally Red, where it was I had a Wrath in my hand against 3 creatures for a long time, and then I got 4 creatures, but did I wait too long? And then there was a second decision later with the Cycling Lauren revealed rather than casting it, where maybe I should have banked those 3 cards and just helped my life total held for a turn. Those are the decisions that make me love Magic and love playing this sort of deck in Pauper. So much to think about every game. I'm a big fan of this. I'll keep working on it, keep studying Barff's content as well, and then make a decision. This is going to come out after Paupergenesis for you. I'm about 10 days out from Paupergenesis when I'm recording this. This will probably come out a few days afterwards, during the week after the event. So you'll know by then what I played and how it went, but I'm pretty high on this. Just for the satisfaction, if not for other reasons, though I do also just think it's good. I'm going to leave this one here. Thanks for watching, everyone. Like, comment, subscribe. If I saw you at Paupergenesis and DMV CubeCon, thanks for saying hi. If I didn't, catch you next time. I'm out of here.